at Nigeria Info Abuja. So go check us out there. All right. I know a couple of days back, I don't tell Una now. I say just tell us say you no go come. I don't tell Una in simple English. You ain't gonna be here. All right, except you want me to say in French. Let's start off with a bit of football. I hear a lot of people proposing a ban for Osimhen, Victor Osimhen. I thought it was the darling of all soccer enthusiasts and football lovers in Nigeria. And then this whole Finidi George business came up. Whether he called him or he did not call him, he asked him to be there to give moral support to the team. I mean, Nigerians, guys. So because of these qualifiers and the fact that 2 matches, we lost one, we equalized one, we just started, I was talking with the coach the other day, and apparently we have a sack them mentality. You perform, you don't perform, just sack them and let's get somebody else. And so the pressure started building for George Finidi, particularly when he was downgraded a bit and he felt like, come on, I can't do this. And he thought to turn in his resignation. And a lot of people attributed the whole rant coming from Victor Osimhen. I mean, Victor was so crude in that his rant. Personal opinion here, because I thought he was a chill guy. I see him on TV. And then when he was shaking on people like me, what did I do? Just watching your video and I'm hearing, kini. I'm not going to repeat what he said, because definitely I'm not going to use those words. I thought it was very rude, very crude and caught of him. And a lot of people apparently share my sentiment because they're saying ban him already. Former Nigerian goalkeeper Ida Peter Sade said that NFF, the Nigerian Football Federation, should ban Victor Osimhen from the national team if he fails to apologize to embattled coach Finidi George for his outburst on social media on Friday. And I kind of hear a lot of people saying that. And a little bluebird whispered that meetings perhaps will go on or are going on to say we just might ban him unless he apologizes to Finidi George. And I'm thinking, well, is it still needed? Finidi George has resigned, hasn't he? But then, is an apology absolutely required at this point in time? Because that rant was just unnecessary. I mean, you look at Osimhen. When Finidi George was playing, Osimhen was still in diaper, not literally, because he was still like out there, a baby, young chap. And this guy was living his dream. And you grow up and, we're known to respect our elders here, coach or no coach. Doesn't matter how he went about it. There are polite ways you could actually address a serious issue that is a dent on your personality, without coming off as just being a little arrogant about it. And so, when he went on and on, Winger, now that you're here, I know you're a soccer enthusiast. You're a football analyst, but I would need your 2 cents here. And I don't know where the camera is positioned, but let me hear your take on it. Do you think that Victor Osimhen should be banned from playing at the National League until he passionately and sincerely apologized to Finidi George, either he resign or not or whatever, but he does owe him? And a lot of us who saw the video and I thought, Oga, wait till reach like this now. Or what do you think? Not necessary?
It is necessary because, first off, his reaction was based on an unfounded news. I think that is one aspect people are not really talking about. Everybody is talking about the reaction. Everybody is talking about the IG live. Of course, it's Victor Osimhen. So that's what people will talk about. But there was a reason he reacted.
Okay.
Now, Saturday morning, there was a news on Score Nigeria. I have to mention their name because it's something that puts a dent to the media. So Score Nigeria is a news platform, a blog. They now put up a story that Finidi George blamed Victor Osimhen for his lack of patriotism to come to the team or assist the team in the 2 draws and stuff in the World Cup qualifiers. Now, according to the news, because I opened the link, the person said, a source said that Finidi said. So the person writing the news wasn't even quoting Finidi directly. He was quoting a source on the roadside that told him.
So it could just be any angry guy on the street who's feeling.
That line just showed that the news was a fox. But Osimhen, I don't think he has social media manager or whatever, saw the news and exploded. Now, he exploded because it's been a ticking time bomb since 2022. You would remember when we went for the AFCON in 2022, towards the tournament, Osimhen got injured. And it was like, oh, he's choosing when to play for the national team. That was when the whole emotions started. The same thing at this AFCON. He didn't really perform that
Dearest
much,
gentle listener,
Let's go on a quick break.
a little birdie just told me that Bridgerton Season 3 Part 2 continues. Prepare to be swept back into a world of drama, steamy romance, scandal, and gossip. Follow the love story of the season as it unfolds.
Now playing Bridgerton Season 3 Part 2, only on Netflix, with plans starting from 1,600 Naira only. T's and C's apply.
The politics of our nation.
They have that right to protest. There is no need to go there now start shooting.
The current affairs of our state.
Everywhere we have gone to, the dirt of Abuja is not on the surface.
All at your fingertips on your Let's Talk station.
95.1 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Yeah, we're talking and started off because we know we love our football. We love our football gist, and we've got Benga around. So to get his opinion on Osimhen, the call for him to be banned from the national team until an apology, if an apology is good enough nonetheless. So Benga was talking to us about where it came. Apparently it came off a rumor mill. It was in like direct quote from the former coach himself.
I put it to Victor Osimhen that Finidi said none of those things. Because we have first-hand witnesses who were in Abuja Stadium where the sports minister was. There was a meeting between the sports minister, he called an emergency meeting. Finidi was there and some other stakeholders. Some people who were there witnessed Finidi supporting and defending Osimhen, saying, no, he called me before the games, that he was sick. He showed them the video call. The same Osimhen too also showed some videos when he was, I think, in Germany with his doctor calling Finidi on a video call. So, according to those witnesses, Finidi was actually defending Osimhen.
Oh dear.
Then a news came up that Finidi, on the other hand, was calling out Osimhen, telling him he's not patriotic and all those things. So, the very fact that Osimhen's rant was an unfounded truth, that alone requires apology. Not just official statement, but to a person of Finidi. Because if you've watched the IG very well, let me also address something. You were talking about the fact that you opened the video and it was shaky and all those kind of things.
I felt attacked personally myself.
But it wasn't, let fans understand this. He wasn't attacking every Nigerian. He was attacking those who believed the news and those who are peddling his name in the wrong light.
Okay, I don't know about peddling, but then you were reacting so vehemently to something, and it just feels like,
but I'm just laying the foundation because some people are saying, oh, he was cursing Nigerians. No, he was saying those curse words to people who are dragging his name in the mud and people who actually believe the news. That, you know me now, I'm a patriotic person. I don't even need your opinion to come for the national team. And if he even mentioned that if this would stop him from being called up again, no problem. So you would know that it's been boiling. He didn't just.
So apparently there's more to it.
There is more to it, and it's a combination of what the fans say on air, what the coaching staff before Finidi even was appointed has been saying, probably his colleagues, and they say, the big boy of our team, he comes whenever he likes. All those things have built up. We can reference it to C. Ronaldo. He mentioned the same thing, that he doesn't respect the coach at the time when he was giving that interview to Piers Morgan. He said a lot, although he didn't come out as ghetto as Osimhen, but both players were complaining about the lies in the media. C. Ronaldo specifically said he was going to address the lies in the media in August before the interview came out in September. So
by media, you mean social media?
No,
the one making
news
the round
outlets. He said the lies news platforms, they use his name to trend. He's not the first person to say it. He's not the first player that will come out and say news platforms use clickbaits to trend, and they don't care whether it is fake news or not. As long as you see Ronaldo did this, Osimhen did this, everybody clicks and reads. And this is also an outcry to fans. When you see a news, try and verify. It's very easy to know a Fox News. If there's no direct quote, and no news platform will quote a person that didn't say something because of plagiarism. Yeah. That was why that news platform was very smart to say, a source said, Finidi said. Do you understand? So it's very easy to know Fox News. Don't just see headline, you've seen gist, you now start spreading it. Learn to be meticulous, and to Victor Osimhen, you have no choice. Just apologize to Finidi himself. In fact, you should do a video of you visiting Finidi in his home and hugging
and apologize to everybody
it's not
who
about being football or
apologize
sports
to Finidi George.
Yeah.
Apologize to everybody, including
Apologize
me,
to everybody
that saw the video
and the fans
and
that
felt
felt
personally attacked.
Yes. I mean, he has soiled his name in the hearts of those who loved him or love him. I won't say loved, because some people still love him.
No, we still love him.
Yeah,
that he did something out of.
In fact, that particular Friday,
okay.
he was at the club with Yemoli. That Friday, we drew Benin Republic. So he was already receiving indications then that your team, they draw, you did club with Yemoli, that kind of thing. So again, everything was building up.
Yeah.
But no excuses, no justification. He needs to apologize.
He needs to apologize. Just before you run off, Leo is saying, please, we better miss the World Cup than Osimhen going unpunished. He's a role model, Africa Footballer of the Year. He's completely demarketed himself. France won the World Cup without Eric Cantona. All those supporting his conduct are not wishing him well. When I heard him vibrating, I thought, Sari Dokubo.
If you watch it to the end of the live, he was about to nod the person that wanted to. He's like, don't let me nod you. He mentioned it. It was like a new track. Don't let me nod you. Don't let me nod you. Don't let me. Or he just gave. Igalo came onto the live. Musa came onto the live. Boy, dropped that phone off the live. As in, people who hold him in high esteem, even during the camp, had to jump in. Guy, is he rich like this? So.
Now, wow.
Well, we move. But like the texter said, we need Osimhen, so they need to resolve all this so that we can move forward.
Indeed. Etienne Segbenga, this is why I always love the way you analyze your sport matters. And I love the oracle when she talks sports. Sounds so cool. Efe from Akko. And she talks sports more.
She actually, her voice, when she was talking about sport, I said, Kim has started again. When she goes into that sports, line.
What's in a
people really don't
mood?
know that you follow football like that. Too.
Well, I actually do have some interest in it.
Yeah.
And I listen to you guys a lot.
Swat
started off from a sports station.
Yeah,
I mean, she was a football commentary expert and all of that before she came here. So
sunny side. All right.
Yeah. So thank you, Gwenga, for that update. And we get to hear your opinion too on what you make of the first story we looked at. The second story to look at is Nnamdi Kanu, and he's seeking negotiation with the federal government. Nnamdi Kanu seemed like somebody we've forgotten completely about. Well, not everyone. Some people just feel like, what's going on with his case? But he's always in the news. Either he's going to court, he's stalled, they're adjourning, and the likes of it. He's granted bail and not giving bail, and some people say he can't go on bail and all whatnot. So there's been a lot of back and forth around him. However, the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has said he would seek negotiation with the federal government over his ongoing trial. He spoke through his lead counsel, Aloy Ejimako. He told the Federal High Court in Abuja on Wednesday he will seek negotiation under Section 17 of the Federal High Court. And the Act says, in any proceeding in the court may promote reconciliation among parties, dare to, and encourage and facilitate the amicable settlement thereof. So, Ejimako had earlier moved to application brought before the court. The first application is to move from 49 and an application objecting to the jurisdiction of the court. And Kanu's lawyer said if the applications were denied, his client will move for the implementation of Section 17 of the Federal High Court Act. And responding counsel to the federal government, Adegboyiga Awomolo, told the court that he had earlier informed the defendant that he does not have the power to negotiate on behalf of the federal government. He said that the defendant should approach the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, who has the power to negotiate on behalf of the federal government. And responding to the development, the presiding judge, Justice Binta Nyako, said the court was not a solicitor, but only to hear cases. So the detained IPOD leader has been in DSS custody since June 2021 after he was arrested in Kenya. Since his arrest, he's been facing terrorism-related charges leveled against him by the federal government. It'll be quite interesting to see what turn this takes. Because appeal has come from different quarters to saying, just let this man off the hook to bring about a bit more stability. And if you follow the news a couple of days back, the killing of, security personnel in the eastern part of the country, police attacked also, attack of even civilian trying to enforce a sit-at-home in some part of the state. It tells you that the peace and tranquility hasn't quite returned there. Some people strongly believe that if Nnamdi Kanu is let off the hook, that might get some level of normalcy. Maybe, maybe not, but hey, you never can tell, is what some people are arguing at this point in time. And some are a little confused as to why the case is dragging on so long. You just feel like there's no closure. It's not headed as fast as possible to a conclusive end. Go to jail, convicted, the back and forth, which is very typical that we've seen with quite a number of cases in Nigeria and how it is stalled. But then they will argue that a few other people have faced, allegations that have not perhaps gone to court, and it feels like they are off it now. Why not Nnamdi Kanu? Others will argue that the degree and severity of Nnamdi Kanu's crime is one that you don't, downplay and treat with any form of levity at this point in time. So are we going to see some sort of negotiation happen with the federal government? And the negotiator on the part, the one who is speaking on the part of the government, would he come to a roundtable of some sorts to say, okay, these are the conditions in which we would let you off the hook and just let this case rest? It depends on what the terms and the conditions are, if any. Recall that former President Buhari said, see, it's out of my hand, let the courts do their business. But we do have a new government. It's left for us to see what what direction they want to take with Nnamdi Kanu. If he's going to be dragging on for the next 4 years under Tinubu, or if he gets a conviction or acquitted. Well, it's quite interesting. Elders in the regions have spoken. Governor of Anambra State has waded in. What do you think? Roundtable conversation? Let him off? Or let the court interpret to the very end and he gets what he gets at the end of the day? We'll get your 2 cents on that as we look at more of the stories driving conversation in the country. I'll just go straight to the phone line. We have one more story to go through, but call me up and touch on any of these stories. Should Osimhen apologize passionately? And, they're calling for a suspension from the National League. Someone says we should just not qualify if Osimhen is not going to be there. I know he's amazing, but come on, guys. He's just one man. All right? And you need more than one man to get the job done. 0700 951 0000 or 0809 5974 869 or call via WhatsApp. Hello?
Wadakin.
Yes, sir. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mazi Destiny Anthony.
Go ahead, sir, Mazi.
I'm not really a football person, but if him, giving apology will, calm everybody enough, so let him go ahead and do that. But I think that it looks like his anger, in one way, should also be allowed. I think probably there are other things that maybe he's frustrated. Probably people have also said a few things about him, and that could, have resulted in that outburst. I feel like it's more like, when steam, you are using your pressure pot, the steam builds in to a point where it can become explosive. So the moment you create a small exit, you hear that noise, you hear that explosion. I think that's what happened to Osimhen. I shouldn't just blame him. He has never really been, I don't think anybody has ever had any issue with him. If you watch social media, most of other celebrity posts, he's somebody who is welcoming, and, loves to associate with his people. I remember I saw a video somewhere on social media or somebody's page where, he was going to visit a Nigerian who is really not that a popular person, but somebody who is close to him. He went with one small car, like those ladder kind of car. He had to stop in the guy's house, greeted people, and so I don't think that he's really that kind of person. But because he's a superstar, people are beginning to feel like maybe he's getting into his head. I do not think he should be, banned or, condemned that way. I believe when the truth is, like Benga said, if the truth is laid out to him, he will, maybe Ogafidi didn't see this. The apology, I don't think it is that hard for him. But for Nnamdi Kanu team, if to advise as a person who wants fairness and justice, I think he should be just allowed to go. Someone can call him, negotiate with him and say, oh, help us, talk to a few people who can bring peace in the Southeast, because whether you like it or not, Southeast is going down. As a businessman, I knew what I saw. The other time I traveled home, it's not funny. Businesses are shutting down. Even my younger brother, who is in Aba, had to relocate his business to Lagos, and so many other people. So he should be negotiated. If you want to follow through the court, people are going to feel, okay, you let so-and-so person go. They begin, you start pointing to other people from other places who you let go without the court concluding on their case as well. So let it not be. Because Southeast already feel like you hate us, you don't like us. That kind of energy is around there. So they can call him, negotiate with him. But then when he goes to Southeast, and he can help bring some peace, to that area. That is my humble opinion. Thank you so much, my sister. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much for that humble opinion of yours. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's Kingsley.
Kingsley, go ahead.
Yeah. All this energy being wasted over trial of Nnamdi Kanu. It's uncalled for. This man is just fighting for freedom. And he's fighting for what will benefit everybody in Nigeria, including Africa. But I don't know.
I don't know about that, fighting for everybody in Nigeria and Africa. Let's not exaggerate what it is.
He's fighting for equity and justice. Equity and justice is that leader of the APL has been released. And he's still being held. Is the same treasonable felony they charged to both of them? Why was the other man released and Khan is still being first trial? I was an extraordinary relation. How can you try somebody who was there, his rights were violated, brought from Kenya without extradition, no any extradition, and he wants who judge can be able to try him? It's unfair.
All right, thank you very much. Let's not, we all know what he stood for, what he represents. It was not a case of fighting for whole of Nigeria and Africa. It was a secessionist who was calling for the liberation of a group of people who believed in his cause. And I do not think he spoke for the entirety of the Southeastern people. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Beautiful. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's Kimberly. What's your name?
Oh, goodness, Kimberly. My name is Pablo Money. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Pablo Money.
So that came out for my name. So talking about Victor Osimhen, Osimhen, I think what happened to him was he was calm a bit. He reacted because of the position of the person that actually made that outburst. After losing too much, that frustration is already in all the Super Eagles stars. So coming up with such news, although he would have verified before reacting like that, I don't know whether Osimhen knows his position in the world. He doesn't know that he's a world class player. He's a brand. Mm-hmm. He's not supposed to come out and be doing those kind of live video. If you watch the likes of Ronaldo, Vinicius, these men are people that have been collecting several critics from different parts of the world. So you don't just react to anything you see. You should have calmed down. I'm sure if he had think through, he would have been able to come out with a very matured response, because that's also immature of him. So I think he should apologize to Finidi and
But what do you say to the gentleman who says we better not go for the World Cup if Osimhen is not going to be there? I mean, if we can qualify for the World Cup without Osimhen, we're good. He fears that if we go for the World Cup without Osimhen, it would amount to nothing. And I'm thinking qualifying enough alone is big deal.
I think they should pardon him because he hasn't done something like that. I don't think Osimhen is somebody that is a rough person. Osimhen is somebody that is he's somebody that has this maturity and discipline. But I think that thing came out of anger. So since it's something that he hasn't portrayed that kind of act. There are some people like a player like Balotelli. We all know that Balotelli is a very rude player, but Osimhen does not portray that rudeness. So he just came out of anger. So he should be pardoned and he should apologize to Finidi. He's still a very good player. So I think they should just pamper him and caution him.
All right. Pamper and caution. All right.
Yes. All right.
Everybody making excuses for a star player. Like, just pamper him and caution him because you actually do need him. Boy, oh boy. All right, thank you very much for that. Let's look at some comment quickly on our WhatsApp page and we go to more of them. You have any thoughts? Apparently you don't follow football. What do you follow exactly, Dan?
No, I actually play football. I don't derive joy in watching football.
But you play?
I'm good in playing football.
Really? So what do I derive joy from exactly? Wrestling?
No, I'm more into listening to music during my free time.
All right, he's a music boy. Now we know. What's the comment of the evangelist that was not heard? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sure it's from a previous conversation. And let's see here. Good afternoon, Kim and your brothers. I think Osimhen deserves a ban. And just like what you said, when Finidi was active, Osimhen wasn't born. How can he disrespect a man who's old enough to be his father? This boy needs to manage his anger. Also remember how he disrespected Ikpeba, Oluzade, Abiodun. Good afternoon. As far as I'm concerned, Osimhen must be banned regardless of whether Finidi said those things about him or not. For God's sakes, if they were to have come for his club's coach, would he even have said a word? This is so childish of him. He did similar thing to Victor Ikpeba. Ikpeba, annoying Moses from Wuse 2 sent that one in. Victor Osimhen's reaction was too extreme. He should tender his remorseful disposition to the coach and other Nigerians. Osimhen's outburst was disgusting for a player of his caliber and he needs to apologize. However, the news media that reported that Finidi Dodd said he can't beg Osimhen to play for him needs to be sanctioned as well because there's no evidence either in text format, audio or motion picture to back that report up. The report was vague and it has done more harm than good to our football. If clickbait journalism is not discouraged in Nigeria, we're in for a big challenge ahead. D1 in Cuba. Well, like Benga said, I mean, it's one of those blog source stories that there was no direct quote, so it could actually have been implied in one way or the other. And if Osimhen knew any better, he'd have known not to respond to the clickbait kind of like that he saw there. But yeah, your point is noted. Well done, Kim. You like football like I do. We love Osimhen, but he goofed. He should apologize but not be banned. Mr. President should grant Nnamdi Kanu pardon without further delay for the sake of the national unity and peace. God bless Nigeria. Ode Tony from Gwarimpa. If Osimhen doesn't play for the Super Eagles, we will lose because he's younger than them. He should not talk when he's hurt. Is it because he's younger than them he shouldn't talk when he's hurt? He's human too, for God's sake. It should be his prerogative to apologize, but not to threaten him with a ban. Osimhen is a dedicated and mature player on and off the field. He was pushed to the wall. Mike Nkagini. It's okay. I think Osimhen needs to apologize to Finidi George. He got wrong information and exploded. Based on the fact that he acted on false information, he needs to apologize. Even if the information wasn't false, nevertheless, it shouldn't have reacted to Finidi George the way he did because we're Africans and we have respect for our elders. Thank you. Felix from Kado Estate in Abuja. And Geronimo from Dusi Alaji says, I realized Osimhen seemed a bit arrogant and may have some anger management issues. Threatening to headbutt even senior colleagues who attempted to stop him from the hash rant was completely unprofessional and childish. I'm a fan to Nigerian Super Eagles, not Osimhen. He should keep his apology to himself. Reason is because Nigerians have more potential than Osimhen, waiting for the right time to emerge. It's just because Nigerian Football Association is so corrupt that the right people who are supposed to be in the team can't play their way in. For me, Osimhen can never be bigger than the team, irrespective of who the coach is. He should learn to talk. Max Mann from Suleja sent that one in. Victor Osimhen needs to apologize to Nigeria and Nigerians because without us, he's no one, says you, Sani. Quite interesting. Let's hear this caller and we'll throw the last story in for more thoughts. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, Ojo, the next president.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, concerning Nnamdi, yeah, it's good if you can negotiate with the federal government and the negotiation will bring to the entire nation, not even the Southeast. I believe the government will listen to him. But the fear is Nnamdi Kanu still in the control of IPOB? That is a capital question that we should ask. Because there's another man staying in Netherlands there, still influencing them in this country. So, federal government cannot release somebody that is present with still cause insecurity and chaos in the nation. Yes, that's why the fact that is fighting for something he believes in. He cannot jeopardize the integrity of Nigeria. And the way some people are calling and talking, they are not even aggravating this issue. Somebody will be saying that is defending the own nation for what? How? Only God will deliver us. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next president.
Thank you. Next president of far in the future. Hello.
Hello. Auntie Kimberly, good afternoon, man.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, our guest. Yeah, welcome. This is just calling from Nigeria State. I read all the callers and listeners.
Go ahead, sir.
Auntie Kimberly, I don't know if do you know the reason why an elderly man doesn't have hair in his head? When the children bring, he will rub his hand from the front to the back. When his wife bring, he will rub his hand from the front to the back. When his brother and his sisters bring, he will rub his hand from the front to the back. That is why I tell you they do not have hair on their back head. You understand?
Oh, wow.
I think for me, the coach should just endure. That is one of those things they call the senior man and elderly man. You understand? For Osimhen, he should apologize. He should apologize to his father. It's his father. I think he should apologize. Forget about that. His coach is his father. He should apologize. And after the apologize, the senior man there should take him as his son. Because you cannot throw a baby with the dirty water. You understand? I believe he will learn lessons.
All right.
The way you will treat a child, he will learn. And for Nnamdi Kanu, I think the federal government should negotiate for the peace of Nigeria. Because Obasanjo said it. Obasanjo said the former president, leave this young man alone. Leave him alone. But people, they use it as policy. Look at it today. I think they should come to Roundtable for the good of Nigeria and put this in order. Thank you very much. That is my take.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your take. And Raji Timileyi on Facebook. Remember, we're streaming on Facebook at Nigeria Info Abuja and on YouTube at Nigeria Info Abuja. Raji Timileyi says, kindly help me with any... Okay. I did not see that. Iju Jairus watching from Maitama. Thank you. Noah says, most of us condemning Osimhen's reaction would do worse if we're in his shoes, especially when your career is still building. Let's do it with hypocrisy and sentiment. He didn't attack anyone. He was attacked first instead. Finidi said what he said, so you'll ask him to apologize to. Make una know they cover for somebody cause of waiting I know. All right, Noah. And Daniel Yankai says, good afternoon, Kim and Dan. Mr. Daniel from Gwarimpa. That's all he wrote. There are more comments. I'll get to that in a bit. But here, apparently, anytime the president speaks, half the time he ruffles feathers. And this time around, he quite ruffled a number of feathers by saying, Nigerians are not alone in poverty. So we're part of a larger community of poverty-struck countries. He said that there is poverty, although he acknowledged that there's poverty and suffering in the country. Nigeria is not the only nation facing such situation, and cautioned criminals against vandalism of rail tracks and stealing of electric cables, describing such acts as pure sabotage. He also said that good economics at a hash time was the challenge his administration must face, adding that no matter how difficult and how challenging it could be, he would not turn his back on Nigeria. He's been saying this repeatedly right from Democracy Day speech, like, I hear you, I will not turn my back on you. Now, President Tinubu spoke in Lagos when he received a delegation from the National Assembly who came to felicitate with him on the occasion of the Eid Monday night and urged citizens to embrace a new value system to make progress. The president commented that when Nigeria was not the only country facing poverty, this one definitely elicited criticism from a number of people, Nigerians, former presidential candidates, which is naturally expected, people like Atiku and Peter Obi, who said he was elected to tackle these problems instead of amplifying the problem, and should stop making excuses for allegedly inflicting multidimensional poverty on Nigerians. Said Tinubu, yes, there's poverty, there's suffering in the land. We're not the only people facing such, but we must face our challenges. We must find a way to eliminate banditry and terrorism. We must find a way to eliminate terrorism and banditry so that farmers can bring out food from the farmland. If you do not have good road to bring the food to the population, even if you grow the food, you're losing 60 to 70% to damage. You pay the price. President Tinubu contended that Nigeria must have a change of value system if the nation is to make progress. So there are quite a number of delegations that went and quite a lot that he said there. And as expected, they had people who spoke. Labour Party expressed disappointment with the president's statement, which described as making mockery of Nigerians, poor people. That was through the national secretary or the national publicity secretary of the party, Obiora Ifo. Said the president need to be reminded that he was elected into office to reduce, if not eliminate poverty and not exacerbate it. And we also had, similar point of view from former Vice President Atiku LP to his special advisor Paul Ibe. Said there's a saying that the baby goat watches the mother goat eating grass and consequently learns to eat grass. They are little or no value nurtured and promoted by Tinubu and his administration. What Nigerians are seeing manifest is insensitivity, corruption, and wastefulness. So for the president to speak about us finding a way to eliminate banditry and terrorism is an acknowledgement of his underperformance also. Yeah. And a few Nigerians too took exception to that, but it does sound like a statement of fact. Nigeria is not the only place where we have poor people. We have poor people all over the world. But the last thing you want to hear is from your president. It feels like he's romanticizing it, even though it was a statement of fact. However, you'd expect it like, yeah, but this is what we're doing, and all of that. But I personally think there's nothing the president will say that will sound right to Nigerians at this point until we see result. It has to come from a position of this is the number. This was how it was before, and I came into office, and this is how I've changed the narrative. This is how I've changed the fate of Nigerians. This is how I've improved on this. But to sound average, like any average Nigerian, to talking about what it is we're going through, I think still there. It's 1 year into his government. It's still got 3 more years to go. So we can only hope for the best for all our good at this point in time. So, yeah. Call us up. Let's get your take on these stories. We start with the NFF and the call to ban Victor Osimhen over the insult that was perceived against Finidi George and 2 Nigerians who took exception to it. We're asking, should he be banned or not from the national team? Others say he shouldn't. He's too big a player and we won't go far without him, while some disagree. We also did look at the president acknowledging that that there's poverty and suffering, however, that we're not the only one, and a lot of people are taking exception to that, completely calling out the president. And we talked about Nnamdi Kanu and the move to negotiate with the federal government. Should the federal government come on the round table with Nnamdi Kanu and find an out-of-court way to addressing the problem? Well, we're looking at these stories and would love to get your 2 cents. Hello. Caller. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
What's your name, sir?
Yeah, my name is Frank Age. I'm calling from Gariki.
Go ahead, Frank.
Yes, I just want to talk about Nnamdi Kanu. Please, can you confirm my sister? Is he still in detention of DSS?
Nnamdi Kanu is still being held.
Yeah, that's it. Now, I just want to believe that this president will not mishandle Nnamdi Kanu's case or situation, just like the former president did. Because as far as I'm concerned, it was Buhari that escalated the matter of Nnamdi Kanu. There was nothing in handling Nnamdi Kanu's case. But Buhari, because of his style, because of his thinking, he lacked the tact to handle matters. IPOB had been in existence before Buhari came to power, and such other leaders have managed that situation. But by the time you begin to send a detachment of Nigerian army to go after one small boy, you escalate the matter. You give him a kind of relevance he didn't even deserve. So what the government should do is to speed up his case, stop amending charges, bring him out and try and jail him if they find him guilty. And if you know he's not guilty, release him. It's not about looking for a kind of negotiation. There's nothing to negotiate there.
All right.
I don't think hello?
Yeah, waiting for you to wrap up.
Yes, I don't think Nnamdi Kanu is looking for any kind of negotiation. Speed up his trial, find him guilty if possible, then jail him or release him.
Well, you might be wrong on that because his lawyers are saying that's an option they would take up if all fails negotiating with the federal government. So if the lawyers are saying it, that's his position altogether. Debola Ogundare, we see you watching from Ijebu-Ode in Ogun State. We'll take a break for the news at the top of the hour. Don't go away. We still want to get your 2 cents, your opinion on the story. So please stay with 95.1 Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info.